Race relations and distrust of police are problems communities have wrestled with for generations. Now, decades after the civil rights movement, has anything really changed? We took that question to a local professor. RTV6's Mike Pelton joins us live with what he has to say and what he says has and has not changed. Mike.
Well, Todd, you know the term history repeats itself, and an IU history professor says a lot of the issues the country is facing now, we faced decades ago, and unless we see substantive change, we could be dealing with the same issue decades from now.
My reaction was one of surprise, not of surprise that it actually took place at all, but surprised it took this long.
Speaking of the Dallas shooting deaths of 5 police officers, IU history professor Jacoby Williams says racial tensions are in many ways the same now as they were in the 1960s.
You have a lot of people of color, people from those low socioeconomic backgrounds involved in law enforcement. But in terms of the way in which policing and abuse, policing and discrimination, racial profiling, mass incarceration, the list goes on, and all these discrepancies are actually exacerbated.
Williams points out this year marks 50 years since the founding of the Black Panthers, an era of the civil rights movement which saw racial tensions between whites and blacks and a distrust of the police. Sound familiar?
The polarization of the binary of viewing these issues become one or the other instead of both and. One can be pro-black life and also pro-police.
Williams says to bring change, we need to confront the problems, which he says include ensuring those who abuse their power are held accountable, looking at police policies, and serving the poor.
And so all those things go back to economic issues. You saw some of the socioeconomic problems, you saw a lot of the crime issues, some of the policing issues, some of the mass incarceration issues, and maybe some of these other issues will take place. And those are policy decisions.
And Williams also wants to see civilian review boards to help oversee law enforcement, but he admits there is no easy answer to what's become a very complex problem. Erica?